so intriguing about Kabbalah?
What's intriguing about Kabbalah? Kabbalah is very esoteric. It's very deep. It's got all kinds of hidden dimensions to it. I tell you, you know what's really, if you ask me, you know what what's the most attractive thing about Kabbalah, that people are being attracted to it, is that really, in order to learn Kabbalah, a person needs to sit down and learn Torah. There's Torah, what's called Torah Tanigla, which is a revealed Torah, and there's Torah Tanistar, which is a hidden Torah. In order to understand the Torah Tanistar, you need to know the Torah Tanigla, right? I'm not telling you anything which doesn't make any sense. In order to be able to understand the hidden dimensions of Torah, in order to understand the things, the hidden dimensions of the Torah, you need to be very, very expert in the open dimensions of the Torah. Trying to learn Kabbalah, but what makes Kabbalah so attractive is learning Torah is hard, right? Torah's are nigla, open, the open revealed Torah, we strive and we struggle to understand it, and in a certain way, learning Kabbalah is like, jumping into something, and you don't have to go through all that bother of understanding the Torah properly in order to start learning something which is hidden away. That's what I think the allure is. Does it make any sense to do it like that? No, not at all. It really doesn't. To put it into perhaps into something that we can relate to. It perhaps I don't know if the analogy is great, but perhaps it's the equivalent of somebody who starts learning, neurology before they've become a doctor, before they've learned medicine. So good. Maybe you understand a little bit now about what's going on, but if you don't understand how the whole thing works, where are you going to become a neurologist from? Right? It's the same thing over here.
Yeah, but isn't Kabbalah a little more deeper? It triggers things that they don't want a lot of Jewish people to know about, like resurrection.
I don't think, quite the opposite. I don't think it's that they don't want a lot of Jewish people to know about it. It's quite the opposite. All Jews should know Kabbalah.
Really?
But they should know the Torah before they learn the Kabbalah. Which means it would be fantastic if Kabbalah was something which was being learned all over the place by Jews. No, because we don't know enough yet to be able to learn it.
Mahina 1.
Here, look.
Mahina 50 maybe then.
The Gemara, listen, Rabbi Isai. A very important Gemara, this is what you were talking about, right? The Gemara says like this: there is something called a pardes. What is a pardes? An orchard, right? A pardes is an orchard in Hebrew. However, a pardes is also an acronym for the 4 different levels of understanding Torah. Pardes, Pei is Pshat, Reish is Remez, Daled is Drash, Samach is Sod. Right? Let's have a look and see. Hold on, right? Pshat is the simple understanding. You read the verse, what you understand from what you've just read, just whatever there is, right? Remez in Hebrew, what is a remez? Exactly, right?
No. The riddle, no riddle.
A hint.
Yeah.
A remez is a hint, which means what is a remez? A remez is what's hinted to behind the words. So pshat, simple understanding. Remez is things that are beginning to be a little bit more hidden away. Drash,
Inferred meaning.
lidrosh means to explain something. Midrash, it's all coming from the same place, right? Deeper ideas that are being given over in a certain way that we have to dissect what it is that we're learning in order to understand it clearly. The lowest level of all is sod. Sod means secret. Things that are hidden away, they're hidden away in such a way that if you want to understand them properly, you have to go through the levels. So understand Pshat, understand Remez, understand Drash, and then you'll have the opening to beginning to understand Sod, which is the secret dimensions of the Torah, the hidden dimension. Why a pardes? Because in a what is a pardes? A pardes is a place where things grow, right? Fruits grow. Yeah. The idea of learning Torah is the idea of growing fruits. You're growing intellectual fruits, right? But you've got to be able to know what you're doing over there in order to have your pardis flourish, which means that you've got to plant your saplings, you've got to irrigate them, you've got to allow them to grow, you've got to wait the prerequisite amount of years before you can begin eating the fruits, then you've got to bring it to Yerushalayim, and only then are you ready to start enjoying the fruits. In the same way, when you start learning Torah, you've got to go through all these levels and understandings in order to reach the point where you're now ready to be able to enjoy the fruit of the Pardis, which is the hidden dimensions of the Torah. The Gemara tells over a very, very famous story of 4 rabbis. Arba nichnasu b'Pardis. 4 rabbis went into the Pardis, into this orchard. What orchard are they going into? Into the orchard of Torah. Right? Who were they? We're talking about 4 of the greatest rabbis in the Gemara. There was Rabbi Akiva, Elisha ben Avuya, Ben Zoima, and Ben Azai. 4 Ben Azai, Ben Zoma, and Ben Azai. Yeah, those were their names. We're talking about 4 of the greatest rabbis inside of the Talmud. 3 out of the 4 of them, terrible things happened to them. So it says that Elisha ben Avuya became a heretic.
What's a heretic?
He became an apicorus, a non-believer.
No way. Wow. Elisha ben
Avuya.
Avuya.
And from then on, he was called Acher. They don't even mention his name, right? Acher. Elisha ben Avuya became an apicorus.
Why?
What we'll talk about in a second. Hold on a second, right?
Okay.
Then Azai went insane, and Ben Zoima died. The only one that came out of the Pardis in a fit, healthy state was Rabbi Akiva.
But he suffered later on.
That's something else, right? But over here, in this particular moment over here, Rabbi Akiva is the only one that came out whole.
The Baal Tshuva.
He was the Baal Tshuva. Ask the Gemara, why did Rabbi Akiva come out okay and everyone else came out? In a minute we'll talk about it, but you know, every single one of them died. They just died in a different way. One of them died spiritually, one of them died mentally, and one of them died physically.
Isn't
Rabbi
the spirit
Akiva,
in the mind?
huh?
Isn't the spirit in the mind?
Yeah, that's why you went.
No, it's going spiritually means when a person dies spiritually, they become a non-believer. Right? When a person dies intellectually, it means they become insane. And when a person dies physically, it means they're no longer alive. Rabbi Akiva, he remained healthy. Why was that? Says the Gemara, because they were plumbing the depths of the Torah. They were going as deep as can be. And Rabbi Akiva realized when he'd reached the maximum that he was able to absorb, and he looked away. After that, he didn't study anymore. So I want you to understand very well, right? None of us here in this room are on the levels of those rabbis in the Talmud. But the lesson that we can learn from that is that overdoing it can be very destructive. Person needs to know what their levels are, what they're capable of. When a person starts learning divrei Kabbalah, real Kabbalah, I'm not talking about the things that that's being sold all over the place as being Kabbalah, and somebody's making lots and lots of money out of it, right? But when people start delving into the real Kabbalah, they need to know that if they go beyond their abilities, if they go beyond their spiritual strengths, then there's a chance that they're going to do themselves some very serious damage as well. Rav Aryeh Levine, there was one of the great rabbis of the couple of generations ago here in Yerushalayim, somebody called Rav Aryeh Levine. Levine. A book was written about him called A Tzaddik in Our Times. He really was the most extraordinary personality. And he said that he used to learn, he used to live not very far away from the Shuk Machne Yehuda. And he said that, those days, a lot of the store owners were Sfardim. And he said that he was invited by a group of very simple-looking Sephardi store owners to learn with them Divrei Kabbalah at night. And he said they went off to a little base of meadows somewhere over, in the area there somewhere. And Rav Aryeh Levine said it was the most extraordinary experience.
Why?
He said these people were the most incredible Talmidei Chachamim, and they were completely versed in Torah Sanigla, the revealed Torah, and Torah Sanista, the hidden Torah. And yet
Baltimore?
they look they look like simple store
Shuk owners.
owners. Yeah, people in the shuk, you know, selling pots and pans
See,
and selling
Sephardim
this. And
they have a disguise.
could be. Again,
Wow.
what did you say?
He said we only look stupid.
Okay, whatever.